Last time I tried drag makeup on this channel, it was, to be frank, a bit shit. Because that drag makeup, let me tell you, it ain't easy. It's a real art. And yeah, I decided that, you know, I'm a makeup artist and all that, and I should be able to do this. So I decided to try again with a little bit of help. There's clearly only one way to go, and that was to learn off the master herself.
Hi everyone, it's me, Violet Chachki. So I'm setting the liner with extreme black on the palette.
Drag makeup rule number 1, make sure you block out those brows. Now you really want to make sure they're smoothed down as much as possible, so go in with a Pritt stick, put on multiple layers, and between each use a damp cotton bud to just clean off that excess glue so that it's not all bumpy. You want it to be smooth, 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 smooth. Once you've built up several layers of glue in this way, you can also go in with a spatula and basically scrape off large globules, I like that word, globules of glue like I'm doing here, and just spread them over your brows much the same way as you would ice a cake. This is just to fill in all the gaps between the hair so you've got as smooth a surface as possible. It's never going to be completely smooth, so just do your best. It's taken me a good few attempts to get good at this in the first place. Once you've built up the layers of glue and they've all dried, powder over them and then go in with a really thick heavy concealer. And once you've done that, just set it with a little bit of powder and you are ready to start your base. Drag rule number 2, you must have a very heavy base. Oh, I love that sound. So I'm going in with just ordinary foundations, but technically speaking for drag you should be using a pan stick because that's a nice heavy application and it gives you that nice full coverage that drag queens so love. But I didn't have any, so I went in with this and I just went in with several layers of it and it was fine. And then I just used some concealer to just cover under the eyes, you know, the bags and the dark circles and all those things that you get from having a toddler. So just paint that on and blend it out and then powder it. Drag rule number 3, contour is a girl's best friend. So I followed Violet herself and I went in first of all with a light colour. This is a slightly unorthodox way of doing contouring in the way that we normally do it. But let's face it, contouring did come from drag queens, so I'm just learning from the best. Oh, and something I should have mentioned earlier, you should do this cream contour before you powder because it's easier to do cream on top of cream and powder on top of powder. Makeup 101. Once you've powdered your base, you want to go in with your contour. I'm using this powder contour from Revolution and just going down the sides of the nose to give that nice snatched nose. And then heavy on the cheeks. You want these really nice carved cheekbones. Obviously I'm using the Violet Chachki Hello Kitty picture as a reference because that is the look that I'm recreating. As soon as I saw this look, I just thought it was absolutely stunning. I loved the pink. I loved the 1960s vibe of it, and yeah, there were so many to choose from there. There were so many amazing drag makeups online when I was looking, and yeah, but I just fell in love with this one, so yeah. Anyway, contouring under that jawline and making sure you blend, blend, blend. Some drag queens do very, very harsh contour lines. Violet does not. Once you're contoured to the hilt, you want to go in with some nice pink blush. I'm using this really lovely kind of Barbie pink here and just building it up quite heavily because, you know, drag is quite dramatic and quite theatrical. And now the brows. Now, drag queens always have amazing, amazing brows, and Violet is no exception. So I'm just drawing them in with a lip liner actually, but the colour just happens to be a good match for Violet's brows, so yes, I just went with it. Just use what you have, there's no rules. And take your time with this because it can be quite hard to get the brows symmetrical when you're drawing them on from scratch. But don't forget that age-old rule that your brows should be sisters and not twins. So once you're happy with the shape, go in with some brow powder or eyeshadow or whatever you happen to have and just shade that in there. I started off with a lighter tone and then I went in with a darker tone to add a little bit of definition around the edges. Once I was happy with the brows, I carved out underneath with more of that white cream colour that you saw me put on earlier. Just blending that in. And I set that with a little bit of powder. Drag rule number 4, dramatic eyes. Fun fact, that's about the 6th time I've tried to record that phrase and it keeps going wrong, I don't know why. Anyway, moving on. Violet uses a pretty pink and grey palette and this is a very 1960s look. So going in with pink all over the lids and then doing a cut crease with a nice dark smoky grey. You want to blend this out to a certain extent, but you also want it to be quite dramatic and quite bold. You're not going for a soft smoky eye, put it that way. Going underneath with that same grey, just creating that kind of false lash line to give that really big-eyed effect. Now going in with this Kryolan cream eyeliner. This stays put really, really well, hence why I'm using it here. And I'm just going in with this angled brush and just creating that really dramatic wing. Just take your time with this. Wings can be quite tricky to do if you're not used to them. I am quite used to them because I do a wing on my normal everyday makeup anyway. But yeah, just take your time, build it up slowly. You can always add more, but it's a lot harder to take away. But hey, you know, if you go wrong, it's just makeup. You can clean it up and start again. I'm just powdering this because it is a cream, so it does need to be set. And just to sharpen up the edges of that line even more, I'm just going in on top of that with a pen liner. Now Violet's got some rather beautiful lower lashes which are drawn on and they give a lovely doll-like effect. So I'm just sketching those out with that grey eyeshadow and then I'm going to go back over in just a moment with the pen liner, as you can see here. Sketching it out just means you get a nice guideline and you're not going straight in with the black liner, and then if you go wrong it's a lot easier to correct. Just going along that lower lash line as well with that black liner just to intensify that. And then just creating this nice cat-like inner corner. And now it's time to intensify the colour on that lid, so I went back in with that cream white and then set that and went over the top with that pink shade that I used earlier.
Small town.
If you go over your liner like I have done here, you can just go back over it with more black liner and nobody will ever know. I also went in with that white underneath the eyes as well and just set that with some white eyeshadow. It's just to further that illusion that you've got those nice big eyes.
Don't wanna settle down, don't wanna miss out on adventures, things we
And if you need to just re-intensify that cut crease, then go ahead and do that now.
Maybe we're leaving midnight. It's time for a change. Let's get out of here. We'll never look back.
This is also the time to just make sure that winged liner is absolutely perfect. And now onto mascara. Just on the top lash line, because obviously you have created a false bottom lash line, and then in with some false lashes. Drag queen rule number 5, you cannot be a drag queen without some amazing false lashes. I probably should have used some slightly more dramatic ones than this, but it was what I had to hand, so you know, you do you, boo, and you use as dramatic lashes as you would like. Just adding in a cute little beauty spot there, and it's onto the lips. Drag rule number 7, is it 7 that we're up to? I think it's 7. Big, full, juicy lips. So you want to overline a little bit. I didn't overline too dramatically because Violet actually doesn't overline hers as much as some of the drag queens, but I did overline slightly. And then I went in with a kind of a peachy tone. It was actually a cream blush, but it was the best colour that I had that matched what Violet had on. And then I put some pink gloss on top, and we are done.
It's time for a change.
As you can see, I also made her Hello Kitty wheel. I just did this with some card and some fake fur and just some Hello Kitty stickers. But you don't have to make this. This is purely optional. So I loved recreating this. If you liked it, then please give the video a big thumbs up. Subscribe for more looks like this, and I shall see you next time. Bye.